my cohort should be here shortly. And this session called Chant Calling, how many of you knew exactly what we meant by putting that out there? 2 people. All right. What I meant, you might have a guess. Wade Driver just asked me that in the last session. What in the world is chant calling? And I said, well, it's like cadence calling. And he said, oh, okay, so maybe I didn't use the best word for it. But when I learned to call, I've been calling 28 years. When I learned to call, I tried to sound like the other callers that were really popular. I tried to, and then they were all guys. I tried to model myself after them. And every one of the guys that was very successful and booked and doing really well had a chant to his calling. And I found that more and more folks coming into the activity now and learning to call don't have that chant anymore. They just talk. And so the Women in Calling Committee, of which I'm chair, had asked about doing a session for chant calling. And I said, great, so we put it in as a suggestion, and they gave us this little section here, Birds of a Feather. We don't have a full interest session to do this, but I wanted to help you guys and gals that have taken your time out of your schedule to come on how to start calling chant style, how to have that cadence in your voice. And I'm just going to pick, I have regular, very straightforward square dance music, and I have some unusual stuff. How many of you like alternative, fun, unusual kind of music? Terrific. I do too. The very first time I ever heard it done at a convention, they had a session on alternative music. And, I was all fired up, and I went to that thing, and I couldn't wait to hear these callers chant and use cadence to this new music that was coming on. And the only caller in that entire evening that did that was Chris Jensen. And I was so disappointed that only one of the callers actually was in front of the music. They weren't relying on that alternative music to carry them and their program and what they were doing. So I'm gonna put on a very simple little piece of square dance music, and I'm going to talk call and I'm going to chant call, and see if you actually can hear the difference. To me, it's a big difference, but maybe not so much for you. So let's see what you think. Bow to the partner and the corner 2. Circle left, all 8 of you. Alaman left. Promenade. Well, bow to the partner, corner 2, circle left, all 8 of you. Alaman left, then promenade. Which one was talking and which one was chanting? The second one was chanting. You could actually hear the difference, couldn't you? To me, you sound more like a caller if you chant. And if you're a newer caller, you have so many plates that you're spinning in the air on the end of broomsticks with trying to remember who started with who and trying to remember what you were going to call and trying to remember to put the microphone in front of your face instead of out here and trying to remember to control the volume of the music. And you have all these plates spinning in the air. And the skill that we are the least competent with is the first plate that's going to crash to the ground. And usually for new callers, it's that chant. It never even has a chance to get out of the gate. So if you're going to use a traditional piece of pattern music, instead of worrying about chanting and having the choreography to go with this particular piece of music, all I want you to do is try to connect with 1 or 2 notes within that piece of music. And the way that I'm going to ask you to do that this afternoon is to count from 1 to 8. I'm going to start the record over, and we're going to count. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three. Okay. And some of you are doing this up and down. Some of you have already found a harmonic and you're playing in that. That's great. The sooner you can find that, that's fantastic. But you have to at least have 1 or 2 notes to start with. And so you start with counting, because all that's going to do while you're listening to the music is connect you to that piece of music. Remember what I said about Chris and her alternative music she was using? She was where? Out in front of the music. The caller has to be in front of the band. You have to be in front of the music. And the way that you start doing that is to learn that music. So you listen to it over and over and over again. And don't worry about trying to call choreography to it. Just count to it for a while until you find that note. Once you have done that, and realize this is a very condensed session I'm giving you guys right now, okay? I'm really trying to cram it pretty closely together here. Okay, once you do that, then you can start with a little phrase. We're all just going to say bow to the partner corner 2, okay? Bow to the partner corner 2. Bow to the partner corner 2. Bow to the partner corner 2. And you can go all over the place. Okay, you guys have got it. All right. You've got one little phrase. All right, so you do that all the way through. Then you're going to add a little bit to that. We're going to say bow to the partner corner 2, circle left, all 8 of you. All right, so we're going to stretch that out a little bit. Okay, start over. Bow to the partner corner 2, circle left, all 8 of you. Bow to the partner corner 2, circle left, all 8 of you. Left, all 8 of you. Okay, you get the idea? All right? At least this way, you're starting your patter tip sounding more like a caller. Because as soon as you start getting into the choreography, that chant is going to fall by the wayside for a while, until you get more comfortable with the technical part of your craft. If you've been at this for a while, you're going to want to take smaller phrases and try to tuck them in. Bow to the partner corner 2, circle left, all 8 of you. Element left with your left hand, your partner right and left grand. And you'll begin to start putting those calls in there with the phrases. Now, let's pick a different piece of music. See if we can do that same thing. See if I can find something. That was Crackers. And that's one of my very favorite patter records. Very straightforward. I really enjoy that. One thing I did notice about my patter music, if I don't choose alternative music, let me do Crackers again. Tell me how many beats it is until the actual musical phrase starts. Okay, tell me when the real music phrase starts and count. 16. For some reason, that's just a natural composition that appeals to me. Patter records that start in with only 8, I feel shortchanged. I'm not ready yet. So I just have a natural tendency to choose patter music that starts with 16, that doesn't start until 16 beats in. If you're a newer caller, I would suggest that you look for the ones that start with 8. Because just standing up there and moving to the music feels like it's 20 minutes long. So 8 beats is a little bit shorter to stand up there and feel like, oh, when do I get to start? All right. So now let me pick something else. This is actually a round dance piece of music. And the floor loves to move to this. Right. I've got it right now at 120. Okay, which is kind of, if I want to speed it up, yeah. That's about 125. It's Last Night Cha. Okay, now, if you're going to work with that, you have to be connected with that music. You have to find some sort of a tone that's in common or a harmonic to what's going on. So I'm going to start it over again. 1, 2, 3. just go crazy. But you count. You see the same exercise that you did with the traditional pattern music, you do with an alternative piece. And you use that same formula. Let me pick something else that's a little bit off, because I know everybody's really, here's a very traditional piece. I love this. This is called Mabel's Boogie. It's got a mandolin at the beginning. I like this. And as far as I'm concerned, with this particular piece of music, you can come in whenever you want to. It's the same thing. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. I'll speed it up a little bit. I get a little slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to do bow to the partner. Bow to the partner, corner 2, circle left, all 8 of you. Bow to the partner, corner 2, circle left, all 8 of you, etc. Okay? And that's a kind of a traditional feeling, but it's not, I don't even remember where I found that, but I just love that mandolin. Some pieces of pattern music I don't chant to, only because the music is kind of really wild. I'll show you one here. And I might start right here a little bit now. Bow to the partner, corner 2, circle left, all 8 of you. Alaman left, promenade. I just might switch to a little bit of talking. It's okay to mix talking and chanting. I don't see a thing in the world wrong with that. I just want you to try putting in some chant. If when you start your sequences of choreography, if you end up going back to talking, that's okay. That's okay. But when they're promenading home, try to chant them home. When you're done with the tip, bow to the partner, corners all, that's it, that's all. And you end it sounding like a caller. You started it sounding like a caller. So the rest of it that's in the middle, really the dancer's attention is going to be a little more focused on their own traffic patterns, but you've led them into it with a caller's chant instead of just a talker's talk. Anybody can talk. A caller needs to have a cadence and needs to chant. Do you have any questions or yes? Good answer, Pat. Thank you. She said yes. Let me sit down for just a second. They are two different things. When we sing on the vowel of any word that we have. And we combine those with what we call semi-vowels or consonants at the beginning and end of words that have noise made with them when we make them. Like M and L, N. If we say love, the L, although it's a consonant, it has noise. And the V, although it's a consonant, it has noise. When we sing, we want to get to that O, love. And we don't put much emphasis on the consonants. When we chant call, callers have got to kind of cadence or chop what they're doing as far as the delivery. And give you an example. Bow to the partner, corner 2, circle left, all 8 of you. I'm singing that. Bow to the partner, corner 2, circle left, all 8 of you. Right. That's the chant. It's a little bit more chopped because the ending consonants of our words as callers are almost more important than the beginning ones. We have to put the ending consonants on the commands. It's not promenade. Promenade. Okay. Randy, you had a...
You just said exactly what I wanted to say, which is what I found particularly for female callers is that if they get those ending consonants on and chop them on really hard, that's what gives the
Any other questions about that? Did I answer your question? Good. Okay. Any other questions or comments about that?
Well, to answer his question a little
Sure.
bit more, if you're singing something, you're following the melody, and we're not following the melody when we're calling. We're doing something more like a Gregorian chant or that type of thing. We're finding harmonics to work with the music, but we're not following the melody of the music.
Well, and sometimes the chatter, I don't think we're being recorded. Oh, okay, so that's why I didn't bother with the mic, but thank you for the reminder. With traditional patter music, a lot of it didn't have a melody for us to follow. It didn't come from a song. It was just a series of chords and changes and little licks here or there with a banjo or a fiddle or something like that. So there was no melody. So we found a harmonic and just kind of went along, hopefully in a harmonic and not something that's you know what I'm talking about, right? That where you're the note that you found that you think is a harmonic is a little too close to the root chord, and it creates a sour sound, a dissonance. Any other questions or comments? Yeah, another question. Mm-hmm.
Motivation for my question is I'm tone deaf and can't sing, but I think I can deliver with cadence, and I'm trying to find out whether I should forget about this or whether I should use it. It sounds like if I sing, if I talk with cadence, I can do this.
I think so too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I saw. Okay, these people over here were just twitching. Rich, did you have a question or something?
When people say they can't sing, I think I heard somebody say once that anybody can sing. And one thing you might try is a song in a different key, different pitch, perhaps your natural pitch. When you try to sing, it's like you're like reaching for it. But if you found a song that just happens to be harmonious with you, you might find that you can sing.
And especially if you practice the counting to that music to begin with, so that you get very familiar with that particular piece of music. You want to count 1 to 8 throughout that piece of music 50 times, easy, until you get to where you really know that piece of music. If you're not out in front of the music and the music is behind you, you're not quite doing all your job, in my opinion. We need to be in front of the band, like I said. Any other questions or anything like that? Any other? Okay, guys, like I said, it was a very short just a little birds of a feather thing. Thanks so much for coming and showing up. I appreciate it very, very much. Hope I've been a little bit of help.